Today we've got a special video feature about some of the co-op and split screen on Fear 3. I'm OXM Jam Sponge, aka Matt, and I'm joined by Edwin, OXM ET Boy, who actually did the review for Fear 3.
Hello. So obviously the big feature in Fear 3 is the new co-op. You have got two characters. I'm playing Point Man, who's kind of very familiar to any FPS fan and any veteran of the Fear series. He's got this time-slowing ability and he handles guns. And then Matt is playing Fettel.
And he has the ability to kind of throw fireballs at enemies, but also kind of manipulate them in a slightly more ghostly, eerie way. He is actually a ghost, technically, so I'm not sure how it is that he gets shot and killed sometimes, but we'll leave that another day.
Yeah.
Basically, the ability seems to be that you can lift enemies up into the air and hold them in place so that Point Man can just fill them with bullets for you. And secondly, you can also use your power to possess people. But yeah, I mean, there's also a bit of a competitive element to the multiplayer, isn't there?
Yeah, now there's this whole thing where basically you'll come across dead bodies which you can soul link to, and you get points for doing that. But you can choose to share the points, in which case you get less per player, or you can take them all for yourself. And there is a story ramification to basically having more points than your friend. I won't go any further than that.
Also, I mean, you get the advantage of you do get some slight upgrades throughout the game. I mean, we're not talking anything kind of Call of Duty style here, but points will unlock slightly new moves, especially melee things, and also you'll get the ability to kind of carry more grenades and stuff. So it's kind of worth going for. We've got a nice example of possession here. You can see that actually, rather than sometimes kind of actually getting the Point Man to run up into a tower and grab a sniper rifle, sometimes it's easier to just get Fettel to literally just whip himself in someone else's body and take a high vantage point immediately. And actually, when you're done with the body, you can even just sort of like concentrate and explode yourself into a jammy mess.
Yes.
Which is surprisingly satisfying.
It's all about the jam with you. One of Fettel's other abilities is that he can shield Point Man, which you'll see the screen will go blue here, and that's because Fettel is shielding me and absorbing some of the damage.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with that one because you still actually take a lot of the damage, but all of it in fact. So I think I got quite confused by that at first because I kept dying when I was hiding in buildings.
Not confused enough to stop nicking the Alma doll though. That's one of the sort of collectibles you can pick up to get extra points and again beat your...
I still maintain that I just pressed the wrong button.
Yeah.
Although 5,000 points was pretty delicious.
It is, yeah. It's a good accident to have. Just one thing I'd say about this level, this is one of the lighter levels. Actually, the rest of the game is pretty dark and pretty kind of luminous. This is actually more generic looking, so if you're slightly worried that this is all very contra the Fear theme, don't.
So right, just before we get gunned down by a mech as a result of my own stupidity, do you want to just run us through?
Yeah, well, Fear 3, if you play as Point Man, it's a fairly generic shooter, a very smart, kind of snappy generic shooter. If you play as Fettel, it's, well, as you can see, when you kind of go into the body of somebody you're possessing, it essentially becomes a Point Man game again. So it's not a huge difference. I did note this in the review. It's not, the kind of the co-op, the kind of asymmetrical punch. It doesn't feel fully fleshed out. But, as I say, there is this story ramification which makes it worth playing through the game with a friend, and you won't be able to play with an AI partner if you're just playing offline, just playing as one of the two brothers. So, yeah, I would definitely recommend you bring somebody along.
So yeah, if you've got a friend and you've got a second controller, then it's definitely worth playing Fear 3 with a friend. However, you might want to get a friend who's better at games than I am, otherwise you'll find yourself repeatedly having to drag them from underneath an exploding car.
Yes.